Hey, everybody on YouTube or wherever you're watching this video. This is Drew from Sleep With Me podcast. Appreciate you watching the show, listening to the show. The best way to reach me with questions is the contact form on our website. I try to check comments and stuff like that too. But that's where I can really try to get your question answered. And if you love what we're doing here, and you're wondering, hey, how do I support? I want to be a part of what you're doing, helping people fall asleep. Best way to support the show is on Sleep With Me Plus. Second best way is to support it on whatever platform you're listening on. I think YouTube and Apple have ways to support it. Supporting our sponsors that I do host reads for, where you hear me talk about the sponsors, or you can check out our sponsors on our website. I guess that's the easiest way to do it. But I'll try to do more videos talking about that. And another way that's free is just spreading the word about the show, asking questions, making comments, subscribing and following. You could join our referral program to get rewarded about spreading the word about the show, or just even spreading the word about podcasting in general. You wouldn't believe it, but you don't even have to talk about Sleep With Me. You could just talk about your favorite podcasts and stuff like that. Sorry, just thinking anything else. But I really appreciate it. Those are the best ways to support what we're doing here and to be a part of and to get access to a bunch of cool stuff, like bonus episodes and all stuff like that. Thanks so much. Take it away, Scoots. What? Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster who's I guess when this episode's coming out, it'll be a long winter's night. This may or may not be the first episode of 2025. Hello, 2020. This is Scoots in 2024. And I just want to take this quick opportunity to pander to 2025. Hey, this is October Scoots 2024. Just saying 2025. Hey, do you need anything? Could I bring you something cold or warm? Could I prepare anything? Could I tuck you in 2025? Just doing some light pandering. I'm being honest about it. I'm here to pander. That way I had it, then when we get together, maybe you'll think of me positively, huh? So anyway, oh, by the way, welcome to Sleep. This is not this is a podcast of panders. And I guess I try to pander to you. Pander is such a, I don't know, it's a nice word. I probably talked about it before, pander. It's vaguely like a diaper, but other than even that, I picture it as a diaper still, like those diapers, they come tightly wrapped. They're not wrapped, but I don't know why I was thinking of that. It's been a while since I changed a diaper, but man, those diapers, when you take them out of the package, they really do package them in an efficient way. Those accidental pun pander to diaper packers or the people that run the machines that pack the diapers into packages, or the person that came up with the idea. Anyway, believe it or not, this is a sleep podcast. I was going to say I'm here to pander to you and but I mean a positive version of it, because I'm here to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff so you could fall asleep, not so much to put you to sleep. I'm here to be your friend and just talk and give you something to barely listen to so you could drift off versus trying to put you to sleep directly. And also, I guess I could talk about it later because I'm already going on and on and on at the very beginning of the podcast, but to pander to those other parts of you that keep some of us awake, that'll talk about later in the intro. But I'm really glad you're here. This show is very different, so just give it a few tries, see how it goes. You got nothing to lose. And if you find out you don't like this podcast, I have a website set up just for you, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you, which has other sleep podcasts and sleepy stuff on there that you could check out. So I'm really glad you're here. Structurally, we got coming up support. Most people prefer this ad-supported version that's free. Then a long meandering intro, which is separate from the support, meant to ease you into bedtime. And then, yes, the intro will go on like 20 minutes. Then after that will be support. Then it'll be our Dreaming of Newhart series. It'll be our Dreaming of Newhart series. So all told, I'll be here about an hour. But I'm really glad you're here. I work really hard. I earn a nice drive, and I really hope I can help you fall asleep. And the people that support the show directly on Sleep With Me Plus or other platforms, or who support these sponsors, are how we're able to be here. Or you could spread the word for free. I appreciate all of you. Thanks. Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it the bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. It could be thoughts on your mind that you're thinking about, thoughts about the past, the present, the future, thinking thoughts. Thoughts about it, like, when you have a vocabulary like mine, which is like expansive, but not like, not the kind of, like, not, I'm not saying that in a braggadocious way. I didn't even just use that word as it, like, I say it's expansive, but very, like a thin, but not, doesn't have a lot of depth to it. So that's why I say, well, pandering, is it always negative? Or subtly negative, because you say, well, they're just pandering to you. You say, well, great, that's what I want, more pandering in my life. And they say, but they don't really, they're just pandering. Well, yeah, believe it or not, I love pandering. But in this sense, I guess I should get to more of the point, huh? And then I'll talk about the pandering. But I was just kind of saying, like, because I don't have my phone to look up, like the word. So, okay, what was I saying? Thoughts. So it could be thoughts. Could be thoughts about this guy talking to you, right? It could be feelings. Anything coming up for you emotionally related to those thoughts, feelings that are left over from the day, feelings about something coming up. Could be physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine. Talk about pandering. Maybe you work a different shift. Oh boy, do I love those different. It's not pandering because it's well, there is pandering not. Is pandering, apparently pandering is inherently non-truthful. I don't know. That just popped in my head. But I love those shifts because I know it's hard to sleep when you're on a different shift or your shifts change. Could be the changing of the seasons, time, temperature, routine, travel, guests. Could be going through something, getting over something, whatever it is. The only reason I run through that stuff is so you know you're not alone in the deep, dark night, that there's someone else out there listening right now, somewhere in the world. This is the truth for Sleep With Me, that can relate to how you feel. And maybe it's not me, but I think I can usually relate to some of the feelings because I've been through a lot of different sleepless situations. But there's someone else listening right now that's been through something very similar to whatever's keeping you awake, and they're nodding their head right now. And maybe they're comfortable in their pillows and stuff like that, but they're still saying, yeah, I'm really glad you're here. I hope this podcast can help you like it's helped me. It's a very different show. But it's a very different show, but I hope it helps you out. I never knew I was looking for something like this. So I hope this podcast can provide that for you, a shared sense of nonsense, I guess, in the deep, dark night. They say, hey, I just want a friendly distraction. The other thing that's important is that you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve the sleep you need so your day tomorrow is more manageable. So your week, your month, your year, you're getting the sleep you need most of the time on a regular basis. So you could be out there, not maybe out there, and once you're doing that, flourishing. That means the world we are in is a better place when you're rested and living your life. We need you out there. But you also deserve a bedtime that doesn't have to be, that you don't have to dread, that doesn't have a rigmarole, where you could look forward to bedtime or at least feel neutral about it. Like, at least I got that dull guy that rambles about nothing to put me to sleep. So what I'll do here is I'll send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents. So I'm going to go off topic. I'm going to get mixed up, forget what I was talking about. Then I'll have words pop in my head. And I'll say, what was that word I was talking about? Poupon? Like gray? Oh, like Grey Poupon? I think that's just a brand. I don't know if that's a word. Well, thinking about it, it's the worst word they could have came up with. Like, that's if you go to somewhere, I mean, this is, I never would have thought of this. I'm sure maybe somebody comedy did this. If you went to a world with it, like anywhere on the planet, I mean, I'm sure you could find the correct translation that would fit this. It wouldn't be word to word, right? But let's just say I could, do that thing from that movie where I flash and you say, I remove all references of Grey Poupon from your brain, right? And you say, okay, I want to tell you about this new product. I'm bringing you in for one of those things where you come and sit in the room, feedback loop or whatever it's called. And I say, okay, we're gonna pitch you some names for some new products, and then we're gonna talk to you about them. Are you ready? I'm ready. Okay. Well, the only product we're talking about today, we're gonna tell you the name of it, and then we're gonna pause, like it's a sleep podcast, and then we're gonna tell you the category, and then we'll base. This is one of those ones where we just base it on your body, like your facial and physical reactions. So you don't even have to give us feedback. And you say, okay, are you ready? I'm ready. Okay, the name of the product is Grey Poupon. Can you repeat the name of the product? Grey Poupon. Okay, great. It is a food product. And then the person that actually was like, we got great feedback. They don't work there anymore. I could tell you that much. They proved me wrong actually. And I get it. It's supposed to either is me. Is that really the thing? Is it really? Maybe I've got it wrong. People are laughing maybe because it's like, no, that's not the name of the product. Then the person would say, so you already decided based on my physical reaction? Oh yeah. Well, what kind of product is it? Mustard, Dijon mustard. Okay, in that case, like you said, Poupon, right? Not Poupon. Right. Grey Poupon. But it's not gray, right? No, it's it's in a glass jar. Okay, I guess I don't know. Maybe what about Grey's Poupon? No, because then we were thinking, that's too associative. Here's a question. I thought I was listening to a sleep podcast intro where he was just trying to explain, well, yeah, he was trying to explain pandering, and then he went off topic again. Oh, could you tell me more? Well, yeah, it's a podcast that you just barely listen to, so maybe he was just giving you an example of that by accident, but so it's almost like TV on in the other room, or sand slowly slipping through your hands, or out of focus picture. You just kind of barely listen. You can listen to it, but you don't have to listen to it. It's different. Kind of like listening to our conversation now, and where you're just like, okay, okay, I can see that, but I don't know if it makes any sense, but it kind of makes sense. Right, like, kinda like naming a food product, great. Anyway, this is all parody and whatever. I don't need to hear from anybody. Love that product. This is all, I mean, I do. I think I have a generic version, to be honest, in my fridge, but, whatever. It's a premium brand. Wait a second, you said that product you just named, it's gonna be a premium food brand. Oh, yeah. I mean, in that category, other than bespoke mustards, it'll be the best. Okay, I could see. I can't see that, but I'm just here. I thought I was listening to Sleep Podcast anyway. Yeah, so it's a podcast you don't really listen to. Also, strangely enough, it's a podcast you don't even. Most people, even the people that really like it, most people don't like it on the first try. You got to be kidding me, really? Yeah, it takes 2 or 3 tries to get used to the show because most people arrive skeptical or doubtful. They're like, "Yeah, I'm not so sure about this," but, like, what he's gonna just talk about mustard and pandering? No, that's just the beginning of the show. That's when he's barely getting going. Okay, then that's gonna put me to I thought it was a sleep podcast, like, he's not gonna count down or read something. Well, not a I mean, he may, but, no, it does take some getting it's not like anything you've ever heard before. Okay. So it's not like is there any countdowns or, raindrops? No. Okay. So that sounds different, and most people don't like it the first few times they listen to it. Well, not well, some people loathe it when they first listen, but most people are just like, "What am I listening to?" But then on the second or third try, they go, "Oh, now I get it. He's serious about being silly and meandering, and that his show's always never getting started." When he said, "My other bog's a toboggan," that he was gonna make that a bumper sticker, it made perfect sense to him, even though it doesn't make any sense at all. And so, yeah, okay. I could try, like, well, what should I do though? So give it a few tries, see how it goes. If you decide after the second or third try you don't like the podcast at all, check out sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. But yeah, know that the podcast doesn't work for everybody. But there is like a huge number of people that it didn't work for at first until they kind of let go. And some people even took years. They listened to it and then they came back 2 or 3 years later. But it's usually like one of those things. It's like, oh, okay, I do kind of like this, kind of like the flavor of the mustard we're talking about. Now you're really reaching, I think. Okay, so okay, so tell me more about this. Give me some more good news. Okay, so it's a podcast you barely listen to. Most people don't like it. Even the super fans didn't like it at first. Also, it's a sleep podcast. It's been around for like 11 years. Doesn't put you to sleep. It's here to keep you company while you fall asleep instead of putting you to sleep. It's here to be your bore friend, your bore bae, your bore sib, your bore bud, your neighbor, your bore bestie, your bore burr, your bore bee, your oh, he thought of a new one. Boris Borloff. He's here to be your best bore friend forever. He's here to keep you company while you fall asleep. There's no pressure to fall asleep with the show. The episodes are over an hour because there's people who are listening who need a break during the day or who can't sleep at all. So I'm here to the very end, whether you're awake or asleep, to keep you company, whether you're listening or not. And that's kind of one of the things that kind of works about the show. Okay, anything else I should know? Yeah, did you know we're both running a focus group within the imagination of a sleep podcaster? Wait, I don't know what's worse, the name of that product or the fact that we're both running a Focus group. It took him 20 minutes to realize and remember the word focus group. Yeah, we're all in it together, I guess. Well, okay, so tell me more about the. I may have to, if I'm within his imagination, I might have to start listening. Well, remember, it'll take two or three tries, even though you're a resident of his imagination. Okay. The structure of the show also throws people off, and the show's very malleable or adjustable, but it's built in a certain way to benefit the most amount of people. Okay, tell me more. Okay, remember the beginning, he said, friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and then he talked about pandering. That's kind of the greeting of the show, so that you feel seen and welcomed in. You say, okay, get the tone. I may check it out. Like a tentative yes. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's like a nice way to welcome people to the show, and then they say, I might check it out. Yeah, then there's support. Most people prefer listening to this version of the podcast for free that's ad-supported linearly. Some people with a sleep timer. Okay, I don't know if I understand any of that. Yeah, you like, as you become a regular listener, you'll get an idea what works for you. But, that means paying for the podcast is optional. Okay. What does that mean? Well, most people use this as like a bedtime service than a podcast. So, but so that's the way it can get out to the most amount of people that use it to fall asleep. Okay. What happens then? Well, then there's a intro, which is separate from the support. It's a show within a show, about 15 to 25 minutes long, where he tries to explain what the podcast is, and then he goes off on meanders, and it's different every time. It follows the same structure. So, it could just be like it wouldn't work for a sleep podcast to have an efficient thing, because he believes that having it be familiar every time but different helps keep it sleepy, because then your brain doesn't know what's coming. So it can kind of relax, and instead of being like, oh, there's going to go, another, the rain's going to start pitter-pattering later. Okay, I think I understand that. That takes 20 minutes, though? Yeah, kind of like this discovery we've had. I think we only came into existence because he somehow went from pandering to poupon. Okay, that's interesting. So that's the intro. That's the whole show? No, the intro is actually the show within a show. The intro doesn't put most people to sleep. Most people put the podcast on and they start getting ready for bed, or they're in bed getting comfortable, or they're doing some sort of chill wind down activity. And then the intro is kind of like a buffer while they're doing that to ease them into bedtime. Oh, kind of like a bedtime routine, right? Oh, yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, ease them into bedtime, just like it has worked for the podcaster who we're somehow speaking in the third person about, and it works for him most of the time. And I don't know, the intro is kind of a familiar time, like where everybody kind of hangs. Now, there is a small percentage of people that sleep through the intro or fall asleep during the intro. We're happy for them. There used to be people that skip the intro, but then there's a story version of the podcast that comes out. So if for some reason you don't like the intro, you could just listen to bedtime stories from Sleep With Me. Or if you subscribe to the show, like, you get story-only versions of every episode. Oh, so that's what it's adaptable. Yeah, so then after that'll be support, then there'll be our bedtime story. But yeah, as far as adaptable, most people, like we said, listen to this version of the show, but there's some people that only listen to intros, only listen to stories. There's people that subscribe that listen all night long. There's people that make playlists of just their favorite styles of episodes. But starting out, you just give these a try, and then you kind of develop a preference from there. Okay, that sounds good. Anything else? No, I mean, he's going to take, I'm really glad you're all here. even these two focus group people within my brain. And, we all work really hard, even the focus group. I mean, can you imagine? I'm still trying to, my mind is boggled now. That's really the name of that product. They say, well, it was a different time. Well, there's a time when if you said, I'm going to eat something called Grey Poupon, you wouldn't giggle. Like, there's a time on Earth, like, really? Again, I'm not giggling because I know what it is. And I say, well, I kind of like it. And it's like, when I was a kid, I had fancy commercials. So it was the closest I got to the royal. What was the closest you ever got to being in the royal family? Grey Poupon mustard. That's the closest. I think that's a French royalty, though. You must have taken history classes in America, huh? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I didn't even pay attention. I barely paid, obviously, right? Does come in a glass jar. It used to come in a glass jar. There are versions in a glass jar. So, okay. Well, and, so we're really glad you're here. We work really hard. We're a team of people work on the show, believe it or not, because we really hope we really yearn and strive, really want to help you fall asleep. So thanks again for coming by. And thanks to the people that take action, whether you support the show directly or you listen to these next sponsors coming up and you support one of them, or you spread the word about the show, because that's what keeps the show coming out twice a week. Thanks. Scoots here. Welcome to Dreaming of Newhart. We're going to turn things over to Bob Roberts, a person they're working with, and their AI assistant, who all apparently exist as part of what is that ever called, parody, or the other thing, within my mind. And what they're going to do is, this is based on the idea that the sitcom from the 1980s and 1980s sitcom Newhart was all a dream being had by the character from the Bob Newhart Show, Robert Hartley. The main character on Newhart is named Dick Loudon. And because all this exists within my mind, we've been given access to their private sessions, because they're like I have full disclosure. So I'm gonna turn things over to them. Hey Bob, it's good to see you again. Oh yeah, I wish I could say the same. I was thinking, have you thought about if you'd like me to call you Bob or Robert? But well, I prefer. Is neither an option? No, Bob. I'll just go with Bob then. That's fine. Bob, I was thinking, welcome back. I mean, we took a little break for the holidays. Yeah, it was great. It was great. Well, I was thinking, what if we did stuff different? Because I'm really curious what your holidays were like. I mean, the last time we spoke was just right at the cusp of the holidays. And I'd love to hear how your holidays went, and then hear about your dreams, and then look at your dreams. Okay. Okay. And thank you. You did forward me some of your dreams this time. So I appreciate that. And I think this is even funner. You gave them to me out of context, so it'll be good. Okay. Well, I have my notes here. So we had I had my last group of the holiday. I don't know. This gets mixed up with the last thing we talked about, so I'll just go through what I remember. Again, I'd just like to underscore that this is how I run my business, and even though I'm here to talk about my dreams, and I know this is a service to other people, and that's why we're doing it, I really don't want you to give me any feedback or make any faces about how I run my business, helping other people, or my practice. No, it's fine, Bob. I really, like, as much as you, yes, that's fine, Bob. I was going to say I'm not in judgment of you, but I'll just say that I agree. All right. Well, as you, well, yeah, no, I'll try to not make any assumptions either. So we had our last group. This is a whole like we have this one group is really large, and we had our group share or last group session before the holidays, and I don't know. Sometimes I see myself as a role of the contrarian. Sometimes I see myself as a shepherd. Maybe sometimes I forget myself. But I did notice that everybody was having non-positive things about the holidays, and I at first was like, "Hey, can we just talk about the good things about the holiday season?" And everybody gave me a dull stare. And someone even took me to task. They said, "Name one good thing about the holidays." And I said, "Well, gifts are good. I like gifts. I like snow. I like people who ring the bells and are helpful to other people." And most of them were they could find things obviously in their experiences that were contrary to my positive views of those things. And even people who were having a SOMATIC reaction, a couple people to my, and I said, okay, let me tell you what my gift to all of you is, which is there's no charge for today's session. And everybody was pretty happy, and it seemed like it ended on a good note. Next thing I know is I went home. My wife was in, my wife, she likes to dress. She has her own sense of style. And, as I talked about this, sometimes it's, but right now she's being herself. So she was dressed in something like a sailor suit, but not as cosplay and not as romantic play either. Just, but I mean, it did. Anyway, she gave me a kiss as soon as I walked in the door in a sailor suit, or more of a sailor jumper. And she could kiss me, and I said, "Oh boy," and I said, what's that about?" As soon as I opened the door and stepped into the threshold, and she said, "Well, it's mistletoe above you." I said, "Oh, okay." But then as soon as I walked in, she gave me another kiss, non-mistletoe kiss. And I'd been out shopping. The stores were really crowded. It took me 10 minutes just to check out. Then we started going over gifts that we were giving to family, my family in particular. And she's really good at all that. So she was talking about the people we still had to pick gifts for. And typically we give them a fruit basket. And I said, "Well, did any of them give us gifts?" And she said, "No." And well, I guess it's just who I am. I was like, "Well, why are we giving them gifts?" And she kind of was like, "Come on, Bob, Robert." And they said, "Okay, well, they haven't given us any gifts ever. Like, let's give them a fruit basket, but not, the least expensive one." And so we agreed on that. Then she said, "What about Howard? What about a gift for Howard?" And then we talked about giving him shoes. She was like, I don't know who came up with the idea now, to be honest. I was like, "Well, what size shoes does he wear?" Now, whoever came up with the idea, and I'm saying it probably was my wife, but it could have been me. It was very, very thoughtful. A lot of people don't give shoes as gifts, and this is why, because Howard then shows up, and I'm looking at his shoes. And then I kind of posit like what size. Howard, he was like, "I don't know what size shoes I wear." And he was wearing he's a pilot, apparently he has company shoes. And he goes, "What are we talking about shoe sizes for?" And I said, "Well, I just, I don't know, I'm making conversation." And then he took his shoes off, and apparently not only do they have company shoes, they're labeled for whose shoes they are, and they were Winston's shoes. And then I said, "How'd you get Winston's shoes?" He goes, "Oh boy, there was this, he goes, "Never mind, you don't want to know." He goes, "It was a party." And he said he's going out to celebrate with his son. And then he asked about gift wrapping, if you're giving someone a PUPPY. And we said, how, no, like, and she said, my wife said, a bow, I'll go get one. Then when he left, he's like, what are you giving Emily as a gift? And I said, why? And he goes, oh boy, I know what she got you, and it's amazing. And I said, can you tell me? He goes, no. And then I said, are you doing that because you're going to tell, and he's like, no, I'm not telling you, but it's pretty awesome. And they said, well, a coat. And he goes, that's it? And I said, an expensive coat. And he goes, is that it? And I said, well, maybe some matching clothes. And he goes, oh, okay. And I said, well, what is she getting me? And he goes, no, I'm not telling. Okay, then nothing important after that. Sailor suit stuff. So then I was back at work. Carol was like, did you find something nice for Emily? Then I noticed the egg, I was going to get water, but the eggnog, the water cooler's filled with eggnog this time. Oh, because this is already the holidays now. And she says, what'd you get for Emily? And I said, I don't know. And she goes, we better go to the store and get something good. Also, she was having a good time. And then because she was like, oh, by the way, only reason I came to work was for a 3 p.m. And she's like, your 3 p.m. canceled. And I said, great. Then she said Santa called or something. I don't know. Okay. So, then I saw another one of my friends, the dentist. He said, what are you getting your wife? I said, I don't know. What do you suggest? He goes, a water pick. And I was like, a water pick? Like, not everybody's a dentist. He goes, it's a great gift. Really good for, because that's what I'd recommend. And I go, no, I learned the hard way. Okay, then it's so busy I can't get on the elevator. Then it's snowing. Anyway, I don't want to go into it, but I get a gift. I sneak it in by the tree. But then I really wanted her to know. Like, I did want to be like, I wanted the pleasure. So then I got caught. I mean, the gifts were wrapped, and then so I had two. Like, I thought I did good. And she goes, okay, well, let me show you what I got you. And she brings out like a pile of like 20 gifts, like with like on top of a gift. And then she brings out another giant box. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure like, so then I was like, I guess I had to go back out to the store. So I don't know. Then another thing, it was like, we were drinking, then this is that night, and we're like watching shows and movies, kind of nostalgia lane, but I don't know. I'm like, that's too nostalgic or whatever. We got our Santa Claus mugs. There's like the Christmas Carol, the Nutcracker, Shrek. Then there was like that show Glow. Then I was making jokes about Perry Como. Then the door buzzes and it's Howard, and he goes, well, I'm off to France for work. We'll go, oh, you're working on the holidays? He goes, yeah, I always work because I'm not married. So then the married people can spend time with their families. Say, okay, well, how long, what are you going to go to the airport? He goes, yeah, I'm just going to the airport and sit around. I got a flight in 6 or 7 hours. I'll just sit around the airport. Hint, hint. Oh, Perry Como looks great. Oh, by the way, thanks for the fruit. And then he says, what are you guys drinking? And we say hot toddies. And he goes, oh, I can't have a hot toddy. I said, I can make you a warm cream soda. That's about all we have. And Anyway, I think, I don't know if this was when Howard was there or not, but we were thinking about all the things we were grateful for. But also the fact that, but we were just the two of us and Howard, and Howard wasn't going to hang with his son. So I was like, man, this is there's something missing from this season. Kind of a contrast. It's weird because at Thanksgiving I was talking about in our one session, but so I said, let's have a party, Emily. And I realized, again, I called all my clients that I knew would not be having a good time. I invited them all over. And let's just say that for them, it seemed like they're having fun, like at first. And then one of my clients, he was like, do you have a restroom? It reminded me of that sleep podcaster that always uses that term like with other adults, and they always say, no, I have a bathroom. And I said, no. And he said, well, which the men's room, and I said, it's my home. You're not at the office. He said, I was kind of joking, but you didn't get my joke, so then he started feeling down. So I was like, Emily and I were like, we got to get this party going. Because, it's my clients. I can't get it going through, booze. So then we talk about, well, let's sing some holiday tunes. And then we kind of debate, everybody has a relationship with a tune. And, oh boy, so we can't sing that one. Okay, no, we can't sing that one. Then the client that was using the restrooms, like, I kind of broke something in there. You're going to have to call a plumber. I stuffed a towel in there, but, so then everybody's having strong feelings. And then this breakthrough happens. Because everybody's like, I said, this seems like everybody's having a terrible time. And I think it's my fault. And everybody goes, oh, I thought it was my fault. So everybody's like, yeah, is anybody having fun? No. Well, but it's my fault, this party host. And that kind of gave everybody freedom to be like, have a bad time when it's not your fault. Change the whole tone of everything. Because everybody had a different reason why they were making the party unenjoyable, or they couldn't enjoy the party. But as soon as I did it, then like everybody had some freedom. So then we started singing Shrek carols, because I said, Christmas carols get enough things. So we were singing Shrek type songs. We were talking about this shared experience we were all having. Then the doorbell rings. Jerry was there. The dentist. That's the same one that said the water pick. And yeah, then we hung out and played Deck the Halls and everything like that. And it was not bad. So yeah, I guess that was my holiday. All right, Bob, that's great stuff. Now, can we go through, you gave me some of your dreams. Could we go through what based on the dreams, we could either go through your dreams or go through the dream my assistant had based on the dreams you gave me. Oh, great. Yeah, why don't we just go through your imaginary dream that your assistant had? Okay, so I gave my assistant, my assistant looked at your dreams, and then I said, what dream, if you had these elements, can you dream of what Robert might dream of? Based on working together. So my assistant said, this is the dream my assistant had, or it's a simulation though. Great, I can't wait to be simulated. Well, he already simulated you, or they already simulated you. Okay, so you find yourself in a dream, you're at a quaint Vermont inn, snowing, the inn is bustling, and there's quirky characters in a gentle comedic atmosphere. Okay, great. And then there's people talking. because there's been a mysterious guest, not a gift, and everybody's at Twitter about it, and the guest resembles someone that's been in your other dreams before. And they've been charming everyone with tales of adventure and romance. Okay. And then we go to the dining room. We're having a party. Kurt and Stephanie are there. And Kurt and Stephanie are talking because they have a newfound interest together. Kurt's now a gourmet cook, and Stephanie's interested in classic literature. Okay, I don't mean to interrupt your assistant, but that's not the recurring parts of my dream. I know, but this is just I'm just trying to, okay, and Stephanie wants to have a deeper emotional experience. That's, my assistant said, even in parentheses, my assistant said, that's a reference to Bob's dream. Okay, that's not. Okay, then there's a dinner. Then a comedic confusion happens when two electric razors, battery powered apparently, wrapped as gifts, are delivered to your table and they buzz to life. And everyone laughs about it, linking it to the themes of the dream: unexpected attraction and sweaty back feelings. Joanne then reveals she's secretly been taking piano lessons, hoping to surprise everyone with a performance. But then when she starts to play, she's terrible. Wow, that says more about the dreamer than me. Yeah, it does, Bob. Okay, then you notice that in the dream, you're watching the innkeeper, who is you, and you're watching them at their desk dealing with a overbooked hotel during a snow. And they make sure that the innkeeper makes sure each guest feels attended to, and Larry, Daryl, and Daryl are staying there for some reason. And then the dream highlights in a lighthearted revelation where the mysterious guest is revealed to be an actor researching a role for a play about an inn similar to yours. Everybody's amused and delighted by the twist, and they celebrate by a toast led by you, capturing community and camaraderie. Okay, that's not, I mean, isn't that the same dream? Like, your assistant's not very good at dreaming. Wow, Bob, that's, I mean, like, it's a similar dream than the last time, right? Well, Bob, you're right. The last dream was a mysterious guest. Well, is it okay if my assistant keeps trying? I guess. I mean, it seems like it's hard for your assistant, but I guess I'm fine with it. Okay, Bob. So let me just talk to my assistant, and then we'll go through your dream, and then we'll go through the analysis of the dream. How's that sound? Sounds fine. All right, Bob, are you ready to get back to work after that break? Oh, yeah, but you were the one that called the oh, okay, yeah, no, I wasn't. Thank you, Robert. So I wanted to go over your dream now. And I realize we're doing this out of order, but let's, can we talk about your dream that you had? Yeah, sure. I'm happy to do that. Okay, so I had a dream. We were having coffee. We were serving coffee and drinking coffee in the lobby. So this is, again, we always talk about these dreams I'm having, recurring dreams. And there's guests also having coffee. It's cold outside, so some people are wearing coats. And I don't know, I'm in a particularly good mood, greeting guests. And Kirk comes in. He's very cold, and he says, "Hey, And he says, "Do you have any old furniture or books? Because I need some wood logs." And I say, "I have logs I could give you." And I say, "I have some logs I could give you." So, "What about a chair or something?" And I say, "Why don't we just use logs, man?" He goes, "It's fine, but no one uses these chairs anyway." And then Stephanie comes down, and she's happy because her cousin Stephanie is visiting. And this is the Stephanie from the future Stephanie that will work for us in other dreams. So it's kind of weird. But she's a recurring character in my dreams, but in this dream we haven't met her yet. Okay, Bob, I'm sorry. So this is the Stephanie that will work for you in the future, but she doesn't work for you now in the dream. So she's a recurring dream employee in the future, but not currently in the present in your dreams. Yeah, I just want to point out, though, that when you say dream employee, I mean, I would say an employee that appears in my dreams because she's not a dream employee. Okay, note. I mean, I think I understood that anyway, but noted. Okay, so back to the thing. So my dream. So Stephanie's visiting Leslie, and she's not feeling great. Stephanie, that's why she's visiting Leslie. She just decided not to she changed her mind on a relationship, and so they're so she's trying to get some time for herself with her cousin. But Leslie says, "Hey, let's hang out with Kurt Kurt too." Then the other part of my dream is that kind of goes through the dream is that my wife, my dream wife, who is a dream wife, and I mean, I also have a great wife that's a dream. I mean, it's fine, Bob. You know, we've been working together. But George has access to a free piano. And my wife says, "We can get a free piano. How about that?" And I said, "Well, who's going to play?" And my wife says, "Well, you could." I said, "No, I didn't follow through on my piano lessons." And my wife says, "Well, maybe I'll take lessons. It'd be great to have a piano around here. Somebody could play it." And I don't buy that she's going to do it, but I reluctantly agree. Then Leslie comes down with Stephanie, and Stephanie meets George and Kurt and everybody else. And she says, "Yeah, I'm not, I'm going through a tough time right now. And I'm not the life of the party." George says, "You know how that is, Dick." And I say, and Kurt says, "Don't worry, Stephanie, we'll help you. We're good friends." There's a lot of, she says, "Do you never, then I'm sitting in the lobby. I forgot to tell you this actually in my pre-planning, but I'm reading I got it all here in my notes. I was reading an issue of Writer's Magazine, and I'm sitting on the sofa type thing we have in the lobby with George, and he's staring at me reading Writer Magazine, and he's like almost reading along with me. It's very distracting. And I said, do you want something to read?" He goes, "Oh, I read everything except for the magazine you have." And he just talks about how bored he is. And he goes, "So I wish I went with Kirk and the girls." I get Kurt and Kirk mixed up. I don't know. I always call them both in the dream. What's his name in the dream? Well, I don't know. Kirk or Kirk, I guess. And so George is like, "Oh, I wish I went with him." Then on cue, they come in. Kirk, Joanne, Stephanie, and Leslie. and they had a great time touring around. And Kirk bought them. They went sightseeing, and Kirk bought them electric razors, all three of them, gifts. He said I needed breath mints, and they were on sale. We like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I want to know what that's about. But Stephanie seems really touched. She says, "Hey, I'm gonna go put my razor away. I'm gonna go up to Leslie's room." And Joanne even says that, yeah, I got to put my, but she's like, "Hey, but see you later, Kirk." And I tell Kirk, "Hey, this seems like you did good for helping Stephanie be distracted, and Leslie and my wife." And then we talk about relationships, the three of us, and I say, I was in a similar situation. I thought I was going to be in a long rest of my life relationship, and I didn't think she was into it. So I said, maybe we should think about this. And she's, George had a lot of questions about it, but she decided, she decided on somebody else or whatever. So then, next thing I remember is a piano getting delivered. And my wife's very, very excited about it. And the piano people, the delivery people are like, "Don't worry, we'll be back." They say, "Any of you play the piano?" My wife says, "No, I'm going to take lessons." And they, "Oh, yeah, really?" And she goes, "Yeah, I've always wanted to learn to play the piano." And I even go, "Can I pay you?" And they go, "No, you could just pay us when we come back to get it. Don't worry about it." And my wife takes that as a challenge and says, "Oh, I'll learn it." She says, "Why don't you play a little? Aren't you excited?" And I mean, I can barely play anything. Yeah, so I could barely play a couple notes. Even though I took lessons, I just didn't do any lessons. So I just play something basic, like one where you like roll your knuckles along the things. Sure, it has a title, but it was like probably like lesson 4. They teach you that. And I'm not gonna be honest, I wasn't very good. I mean, I was pleased with myself. And George's like, "Wow, you can really play the piano." So I say, "Come on, honey, why don't you sit down on the piano and play?" And she kind of taps away, just playing the piano like a kid would, just tapping. And she goes, "This is gonna." She has this big smile and says, "This is gonna be great." I'm not so sure. Then Stephanie wants to talk to me, borrow a book from the study, but she really wants to talk to me in private. And so she says, "Can you help me find the book?" And I said, "Sure." And she goes, "I didn't come here for a book, really. I came here to talk to you about some strong feelings I'm having, like my back is sweating." And I said, "Oh, well, have you been exerting yourself?" And she goes, "No, I'm talking about the kind of exertion that would make my back sweat." And I said, like a CNC Music Factory song?" She goes, "I don't know what that is." And I said, "I guess it's like I don't know, maybe I was thinking about dancing." And she goes, "Well, it's not dancing, but it's a metaphor for dancing." And I said, "What?" And she goes, "Dancing could lead to this." And I said, "Well, wouldn't your back already be sweating if you've been dancing? Are you sure you haven't been dancing?" And she goes, "Oh, Dick, you're so silly. Don't you know what I'm talking about? Pission. And I said, "You mean Passion?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Wait a second, this is getting," so I make sure there's a chair between the two of us. And I realized, yeah, I don't think this was was a discussion dream, not a dream. My back was not well. Now my back was sweating in the dream because I was uncomfortable. But then she said, it's ignited in me, and but she like I can see it in her eyes too. And then I guess in the dream it was a bit humbling, even though I wasn't interested. That she says, yeah, I'm like with Kirk. Oh, because I said, I'm a writer. I've had this happen to me before. She goes, oh, not you, Kirk. And I said, oh, yeah, he's got very nice hair and he's very tall. And she goes, yeah, he's got an essence that I'm into. And she goes, you're his best friend. What should I do? And I go, I'm best friend. Where's everybody keep getting this idea that I'm his best friend? And she go, like I said, wait, are we talking about the same thing? Like you're synchronized back sweating kind of? And she goes, yeah, exactly. And he goes, the two of you. And I said, I don't know if he's the right person to do that. Like he just like, why are you talking? And what are you talking to me about this? Oh, that's when she said your best friend. And I said, this feels exactly like the piano situation for some reason. And Leslie comes in and she goes, yeah, I told Dick about this. And she goes, you talked to Dick about this? And she, what are you doing? He's my boss. And she goes, I just want to figure out if I should, how I should feel. I'm like, even like such overwhelming feelings. And I wanted to talk to somebody about it and talk to one person about it. And I said, maybe this is just you. Maybe you're too healthy for like, yeah, I said, it makes sense. It's just we're not even in a dream. I'm not used to this level of honesty, even in my practice. So then the next part of the dream is Kirk's serving. The next part of the dream, I don't think it was again, I guess if Kirk's a proxy for me, so is Stephanie. But he's serving hamburgers to a family. And Stephanie comes in and she tells him what's going on with her. And she says, does that sound like something that would appeal to you? And he says, let me just get everybody out of here. So he asks the family to leave. He says, don't worry, you don't have to pay for your burgers, but take them to go. And hit the road. And she'd just seen a movie with Kathleen Turner and William Hurt, which also caused, that was part of, I don't know. She says, just like that. I don't know if it was that movie, but that movie's called Warm Skin. So, and, or the warmth of, I don't know. So, anyway, so then Kirk takes off his shoes, and he goes, but the thing is, I kind of have I really like Leslie, and she goes, Leslie doesn't care for you or care about, she said it's up to me. And I said, but yeah, I still think, and I said, well, I guess we could try. And then they kiss, and then he says he can't. And he says, my heart is pledged just to Leslie, and there can never be anything meaningful between us. And she says, yeah, I'm not here for meaning. I'm here based on desire. And I said, I think I could help. I guess I had a Freudian slip there. It's okay, Bob. That's fine. It's your dream. It's all Freudian slip. Okay. So I said, yeah, Kirk says, I can help you with that. I think I can help. Then I didn't get to, that was the last thing I remember about that part of the dream. But then Joanne's taking piano lessons, but she's more interested in making breakfast. She's very distractible and trying to get with me and George and what we're doing. And I see this is a kind of like a weekly commitment. If you want to learn, you got to practice on a regular basis. And it's just okay. Like, just have him come pick up the piano. Forget the whole thing. And I say, okay, yeah, I'll have him come in, pick up the piano. And then is this like? Oh, then Leslie comes in. She goes, "Have you seen Stephanie? She didn't come home last night. I think she stayed with Kirk. And I feel judgmental of Kirk, like immediately. Like I'm like, that's not okay. Very, I don't know. Like I'm very judgmental, and I'll be honest. I mean, in the dream, it just felt like I was judgmental, not jealous or putting my values on. I mean, I was definitely putting my values on him. And Joanne, I don't know. She's like, okay, wait a second. Like, I don't know. So go back and forth. And then Stephanie comes and she goes, she's really buoyant. But basically, there's a bunch of discussions or something. But she goes, here's some invitations to my wedding. It's back on. And we're like, wait a second, what? She goes, Kirk's a genius. Or, I don't know if I don't know who said that. Kirk's a genius. But she goes, yeah, I needed like to see the edge of this passion, to see what was important to me. And we go, does Kirk know about this? And everybody's happy. I mean, it was like one of those strange things. I said, well, I guess I was over judgmental. I thought I knew how it was going to turn out. Skeptical as always. Then Kirk's like, Leslie, can you ever forgive me? And, or do you think Leslie will forgive me? And I go, I don't think Leslie's mad, because you're not, like, you just like Leslie. She's not, like, and I said, do you realize, I mean, I guess even as a dream, this is strange, but it's like, you have a unrequited crush on the woman that works for us. Then her cousin was attracted to you only on a, warm skin basis. And then and then you and her cousin dance together, but Leslie's not interested in you, so it doesn't matter. There's no you and her. And then Kirk says, yeah, don't worry, I still love her though. So I said, well, you don't love her, like, and he goes, yeah, well, he goes, if this happens, if this is what it takes to win her over, I'm willing to do it. And Joanne and I laughed about that because it's so ridiculous. Okay, well, that's interesting, Bob. You ready to take a look at some of these dreams that you forwarded to me and see what my assistant says? Yeah, let's go ahead. Okay, let me just see what I have here. There's a lot that was interesting, but some things stuck out to me. And I think the first thing is, oh yeah, so the thing with Kirk coming over and asking for furniture instead of wood. Let's see. So the Freudian thing, requests for old furniture or wood, maybe basic needs. Maybe according to Freud, you might be like thinking about security or stability, maybe dependency or vulnerability. It could be a neighborly interaction, and it could be your thoughts on social support and community, which kind of fits with your day, your week, and your roles within these relationships as giver, receiver, or equal participant. I mean, that could play into how you conducted yourself. Okay. Jungian, maybe Kirk's one of those archetypal figures of your own personality that's depleted or in need, and maybe in need of fundamental resources or emotional needs. But it could come down to community and individuality and that tension, self-sufficiency and interdependence. Again, with your choices, maybe this dream was respecting that you had your clients over. I mean, even though maybe another professional wouldn't think that's a good idea, the young and Freud within you does. Astrologically, Saturn, it could be bringing up themes of scarcity, personal, maybe, my assistant tends to forget your charts, so it could be a symbolic resource management. I'm not familiar with this, but my assistant says emotional warmth. Maybe you want more warmth or structure. It could be thermal dynamics in relationships, symbolizing the temperatures of things. So you don't want to be too cold or distant. Historical contextualization. Maybe you're thinking about scarcity. I don't know. The next thing we thought about is the piano. We thought that was interesting. Yeah, let's see. Piano could be a symbol in Freudian expression, creativity. Maybe Joanne's enthusiasm is an unconscious desire for more expression or fulfillment, or some sort of internal, worry, the opposite. Your reluctance could be, resistance to change or the unknown, or maybe some dynamics in your household have to change. Jungian, I mean, my assistant's like, yeah, that piano could be an anima projection, a manifestation, of the feminine aspect of your psyche. And maybe you're hesitant to integrate and accept your anima's desires in your psyche. I mean, you got to think about that. I'm not sure what to think about it. Well, right. It could also be potential for personal or communal growth. That kind of fits with your week. Now, Virgo Sun, now my assistant remembered that your skepticism or practical concerns, now, based on the current charts, you could be, practical issues. Neptune maybe creating some romanticism about creative possibilities. Wow, this is all this stuff's so useful. It is, Bob. Bob, but this to some people it is useful. I know, that's why I'm here. Okay. Oh boy, I lost my page, Bob. You'll have to excuse me. I just saw something about a parade. Okay, so quantum decision making could be taking place here. What about if each choice of the around the piano creates a parallel reality? And one where you get the piano, one where you don't, and each one of those is a different aspect of your personal development and relationship dynamics. Okay, but it's a dream, and what does that have to do with it? I'm just telling you, Bob. Quantum. Okay, piano is a time machine. Okay, this is the first time my assistants pointed this out. What if the piano has a magical ability to transport people back to pivotal moments in history? I mean, this could be opportunities for learning. Like, this would be like the magic school bus, huh? Yeah. Interesting. These are good ones. My assistant also has musical communication. Suppose the piano could translate emotions into music, allowing nonverbal communication between you and Joanne. This could create understanding and connection beyond words. This is actually good dreams for your assistant to be having versus the fake dreams your assistant had. Yeah, this is, Bob, we're in new territory this week. So my assistant is almost dreaming that the piano's a time machine and an emotional communicator, also an eco-psychological symbol, a living entity that improves the household's ecosystem by lowering stress through music, enhancing emotional well-being, and fostering environmental connectivity throughout the wood because it's made of wood. Wow, your assistant's on point here. I mean, in a dream circumstance. Yeah, let's go on to this. I'm excited now. Do you check your? No, I don't check it, Bob. We check it together. You're very trusting. Yeah, sure, Bob. I'm very trusting. Okay, so Kirk bought your wife and two other friends, took them on a tour, then bought them electric razors as gifts. Okay, Freud, maybe electric razors, symbols of personal hygiene or identity, self-image. Maybe Kirk's having some influence on identities of those around you. Tour and gifts could be exploration, discovery. Maybe like leaving an influence on someone. Jungian, maybe these are tools for transformation or losing unnecessary parts of one's persona. Initiation, transition. Maybe you're undergoing some sort of refinement or personal transformation. Or the group dynamics, a collective journey of the unconscious, exploring new territories of the psyche. I think you're very, like, Jung really would like your daytime because, yeah, this kind of seems like the singing together, guiding other aspects and other people through transformations. And my assistant's really not good with the astrology, I don't think. Mercury maybe is influencing communication, Venus, relationships and gifts. Okay, maybe back to the out-of-box ideas, symbolizing, this is Freudian, symbolizing losing things that are effective, quantum synchronicity. So this is a good one, Bob. I'm waiting. What if the razors have quantum properties that synchronize the thoughts or emotions of those who use them? These could explore themes of interconnected consciousness or shared experiences. Wow. Wow, indeed. What about historical echoes? Again, my assistant tends to, like, what if the razors are antiques, even though they're electrical and new? Each one is associated with a historical figure. And using them could invoke memories of these figures and insights and lessons from history. Did you like change your power source or something recently? No, Bob, because if you maybe your assistant needs like a reboot. Well, I think in this case he doesn't need a reboot. What about a virtual reality tour? This virtuality could predict self-improvements or life changes. And these are tools that can unlock different futures or scenarios in the virtual reality experience. Wow. I don't even know what to say about any of that. You don't have to say anything at all, Bob. Okay, well, now let's talk about Stephanie's talk about desire and her feelings about Kirk and you being unclear on it initially. Okay, I'm a little bit, I feel exposed and vulnerable. That's good. That's good, Bob. Okay, so Freud, according to my assistant, misunderstanding and revelation. Maybe you have some desires there, or you're kind of repressing some desires. The realization that Stephanie's open about hers could, there could be some displacement or insecurity that you need to uncover. The expression of these particular desires, like Freud would say, Stephanie's openness and expression maybe there's some tensions or unacknowledged things with you. Okay, but I was open that my wife was wearing a sailor suit and with like, okay, so maybe it's some sort of positive feedback about that. I mean, this seems like this dream to me, even though this isn't, we don't have clearly defined roles. It does seem like a positive confirmation of this particular past couple days for you. So you're saying it's good that I like that my wife's in a sailor suit jumper. I don't know, Bob, but I'm just saying what Jung may say is that shadow and persona, maybe this is a shadow encounter and there's hidden aspects that have to be discovered or not ignored. Anima projection, possibly through Stephanie. Maybe she's your inner feminine and her discussions about it. They could just be different parts of your psyche, that need development. Astrologically, we got Venus and Mars there, transits, and my assistant forgot, but Mercury could be miscommunication, role reversal. So maybe this dream is some sort of role reversal help. What if in the dream world, you're, this is something and maybe there's some sort of exercise in understanding different perspectives or emotions. That's interesting. I mean, that kind of does fit with my job. I would never see it that way until your assistant pointed it out. Yeah, maybe it's some sort of compassion or empathy development. If you and Stephanie are you. Okay, what else does your assistant have? What about emotional conductor? What if there's an unseen force in the dream that brings up hidden emotions and puts them in the open? Like an emotional conductor that ensures you're aware of your deep desires. Okay, I guess that's also like my job. What about multidimensional love dynamics? What if there's parallel dimensions where relationships differ significantly, but those are coming through your dreams? So do you mean like, yeah, I don't know, like, that in other dimensions there's you or a different version of you, and their experiences in relationships, even in these realms, are different, but in your dreams, whatever separates things are less, it's more fluid. Okay. This next one, Bob, you might sit down for. Great news, I'm already sitting down. What if this is some sort of mirror maze? What do you mean? Within your dream, where each reflection, a dream mirror maze, where each reflection reveals hidden aspects of your personal desires. And Stephanie is a mirror reflecting part of your subconscious. That's not as ridiculous as your thing made it sound. Okay, what's next? Next up is your Kirk serving the hamburgers. A family of 4, you said. And Stephanie comes in and expresses her desire, and then Kirk has the family leave. So Stephanie's expression, again, we kind of talked about that, direct expression instead of repression. It could be unexpressed desires in you, as some sort of latent feelings. Kirk having the family leave, maybe that's some sort of mechanism where you're not comfortable with some sort of uncomfortable feeling, and you're trying to maintain decorum over a situation that you're not comfortable with personally or socially. Jung might say archetypal dynamics. Maybe it's like the shadow self coming to the surface, and Kirk representing the order being restored. Could be some sort of thing with your anima and animus, and is a conventional setting challenging the reaction, the restaurant with the family eating there. Mars and Venus dynamics, maybe Stephanie's forthright expression could be influenced by a strong Mars and Venus, and maybe Kirk's reaction with the family may begin protective or defensive. What about culinary symbolism in your dreams? My assistant says, what if the hamburgers symbolize mundane or everyday desires that are unceremoniously discarded when deeper primal desires surface? And this could reflect how basic needs or simple pleasures are often overshadowed. So appreciate this. Keep it simple, like in the holidays, like the gifts. Bob, I think you're exactly right. What about quantum emotional fluctuations? The emotional states are in quantum flux where desires can intensify suddenly and unpredictably, as seen in Stephanie Kirk's actions. Well, if there's ever a season where there's quantum fluctuation, it's the holidays. You're right about that, Bob. Again, we get into this symbolic role reversal. There's also role reversal of gender expectations, which challenges you to reconsider your views. Okay, I like that. Or the restaurant could be some sort of space where maybe the restaurant is where inner desires can manifest physically and influence action. Okay. So we got a magical restaurant, magical piano, and magical electrical razors now. I mean, you could really make a sleep podcast out of that stuff, huh, Bob? Yeah, you could, for sure in the future. Okay, the piano lessons and your wife now, right? The whole thing around the piano lessons. Freud might say it's avoidance and denial. Manifestation of some resistance in you. Is it external or internal would be the question. Or is it you not meeting expectations by breaking conventions and having your clients over for the holidays for a party? Or that you broke convention again by acknowledging the party sucked? Yeah, I think this may play into it. I mean, the thing is, Bob, I think this is probably like how our work has finally got to this place where your dreams are positively reflecting your week instead of trying to give you hints. So I'm on the right path. It's not a distraction as defense mechanism. Could be, Bob. Again, Jung's going to see it as, conscious versus unconscious. Or some sort of reluctance and denial. It could be Mercury retrograde, because we don't know, since Joanne's a part of your if you knew Joanne's birth dates in your dreams, that'd be helpful so we could do her charts. Could be Neptune blurring things. What if it's a metaphorical expression of creativity? Tell me more. Like the piano lessons are it can be of any creative or personal development, and it could be a broader theme. So maybe it's helping you with your practice. Okay. Quantum uncertainty in personal development. What if there's quantum uncertainty in personal growth, where there's a state of wanting to learn and not wanting to learn, and they can coexist? I don't understand this, Bob, but like similar to Schrodinger's cat. Yeah, I don't know. What if I think my assistant really likes this piano. Piano is a time gate. What if instead of a time machine, it's a time gate, and each note played resonates in a specific time in history? And Joanne's reluctance to play it is maybe that she doesn't want to, there's something in the history or past life experience. And she says, I don't want to play a note on this thing because it's a time gate. So time gate allows time to pass through it where a time machine takes you somewhere, huh? I guess so. Let's do this last one, Bob, before we part ways. What if it's about a symbolic life soundtrack? Have you ever thought about your life soundtrack? No, or that would have been it right there. Okay, Bob. Well, imagine the piano represents the soundtrack of Joanna's life, your dream wife's life, and not practicing maybe is a dissatisfaction with the current music of her life, and seeking changes in life soundtrack. I mean, Bob, this is like exactly. Yeah, I guess we're both flabbergasted. Some change in the life soundtrack that they're not ready to acknowledge or articulate. So I think this was a good week, Bob. What do you think? It was a week for sure. And I'm glad we met. And I think it's time for everybody to rest here and get some sleep. Good night. Good night, Bob. All right, good night, everybody. Scoots here saying good night. Thanks